All right. So I welcome you guys into this dellboomi session. So basically, in the last session, we started talking about couple of new shapes, right? Which ones are those? We talked about the route shape, right? And there was one more shape we talked about. Which one is that? The return document shape, right? Guys will recommend you to be on mute. Yeah, you're not talking. All right. So in the last session, we talked about a use case wherein we were pulling the information of multiple people, and we were trying to kind of segregate or you know route it based on the location of the person. Uh, just hold on. Guys, give me just 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm sorry about it. I think we can get started. So I think a couple of folks joined a little late. So we have just started. I mentioned that we talked about a couple of shapes yesterday, route shape, return document shape. So we try to understand in which all cases using decision shape won't be a good choice, but we can go for route shape in all such cases, right? So whenever we have a single identifier evaluated to multiple different values, right? In all such cases, we prefer to use route shape instead of a decision shape, right? So yesterday you might have observed a location was an identifier which can have multiple possible values. So we could achieve that use case using decision shape as well, but the maintainability of that solution would have been tough. And that's why we recommended to have a route shape. So there is a branch which is kind of always there in route shape. What is that branch called as? I mean, whether you configure anything or you do not configure anything in route shape, you will always have one branch. Which one is that?
Default.
There is a default branch which will be always there. And one of the use cases which you saw where return document shape is helpful. Can you recall which use case is that?
Return the documents from parent process to sub-process to parent process.
Very nice. Whenever we want the flow of control and the documents to be returned from the sub process to the main process, then this shape is very helpful. Another important note, this shape waits for all the paths or branches to complete
Execution.
its execution, and then this shape itself gets executed, right? Another important note, if we have two or more branches pointing to the same return document shape, then it waits for all the branches to execute, collates all the documents and return it back to the
Parent process.
calling process. You can call it as a main process or you can call it as a parent process. Okay. Another important note, stop shape of which type? End and return type. In the sub process won't stop the flow of execution in the main process. Okay. This controls the flow of execution only in the existing process where this shape is used. All right. So at the last, we try to speak about few things. I felt that some of you might be confused, which is very evident because these are like different kind of use cases, different possibilities uh, with these shapes. So what we'll do is we'll revisit all these things so that we ensure that you all are on the same page and you understand how it's going to work. So we have a route shape. So how many branches are coming out of the route shape right now?
5.
5 branches, right? 4 for different locations and 1 is a default branch. In the default branch, we are saying it's end and continue. So what is the nature of this route shape? Are these sequential executions, parallel executions, or what do you think? What is your observation?
Sequential.
Sequential.
You are saying sequential, and what is that sequence?
As we give the number.
1, 2, 3, 4 and default.
Yes. So it depends on this number, right? The order which is defined over here. So whatever is defined first will get the number 1, isn't it? So this order which is defined in under the route values is going to decide it. And another option, another thing you have to observe is uh, when you go to route by, you can route on these parameters, right? Profile element, dynamic process property, and all that stuff. And in the profile type, you have all the profiles, right? So you can route on the basis of a document property, dynamic process property, profile element, SQL statement, stored procedure, right? Okay. So now these are the different possible values you have. We will go under US1. So under US1, you have a branch shape. We added a branch shape just to make sure that you understand the behavior of the return document shape. So how many times return document shape will return the document to the main process in this case?
One time.
One time.
One time, right? And how many documents will it return?
Two. Two
Two
documents.
documents. So one document which is generated by this message shape, it will come here, it will wait. Then the second branch will execute. Then second document which is produced by this message shape, both will come over here, will be returned back at the same time. So when the control comes to this stop shape, how many documents will be there? There'll be two documents, right? There will be two documents. So just understand this. Yesterday I was trying to explain this, but we were running short of time. Let's say this logic was not there. Okay, let's say we don't have a sub process and we add a branch shape. Maybe this will help you to understand what I was talking yesterday at the end of the session. This is very important, guys. Please focus on this. I have seen this requirement in real-time projects multiple times, n number of times. Okay, so let's say we have a stop shape over here. So what I'm trying to do over here is whatever logic I had in the sub process, right? So what is the logic we have in the sub process? Some documents are prepared. That's all right. So whatever logic we have over there, I want to bring it to the main process itself. So I'll just copy this, paste, and I'm adding a stop shape over here, probably something like this. Okay. This is my sub process. I'll bring it maybe towards right. I'll copy this message shape. We'll add it over here in the second branch. All right. And then there is a stop shape like this. Okay. So now let's assume that the control comes to the branch US. And now you tell me how will it work? We have this stop shape attached to both the branches. So how will be the flow of execution? When this stop shape executes, how many documents will it get?
One.
So how it's going to execute, understand this. Let's say control comes to the branch shape in the US branch. First of all, you have to understand that branch shape execution is sequential, right? First of all, the first branch will execute completely and then only the control will come to the second branch. So in this case, first of all, the first branch execution starts where we are going to produce a document with the message hi that will go to the stop shape. Okay. That will go to the stop shape. What does stop shape say? End and continue, right? So then the control will come to the branch shape again, and the second branch will execute. And in the second branch, there will be a document with the name by, and again stop shape will execute. But at a time, how many documents will be there on the stop shape?
One document.
One document. Let's check that execution. Okay, so do we have some data for US location? Yes, we do have. So let me save all the stuff. Okay, for now, I want to focus only on the US branch. Okay, let's forget about other branches. So I'm just detaching those. So if you detach those, it should not give any error. We go to the atom, we select our atom, we run the test quickly. Please make sure you're following this. Okay, you may not realize the value of this use case right now, but when you start working in real time, you will understand that this is very, very important. Okay, so now when we come to the stop shape source data, how many documents do we see? Two documents, right?
Two
But
documents.
when you see this logs, shape level logs, it does not help you to understand whether these two documents came at the same time or it came one after other, right? So what we'll do is we'll go to the process logs. So can you see there is a route shape, then there is a branch shape, isn't it? There is a message shape. Which message shape is this one?
Hi.
One.
Very nice. Then you have a stop shape. What does it say? Executing stop shape with how many documents?
One.
One document.
Then again, there is one more message shape. Which one is this?
By.
Very nice. And executing stop shape with how many documents?
One document.
So that means it was sequential, right? It was sequential, and now this is a problem, right? But your business requirement says that all these two documents should be part of single execution. So these two documents should go as a chunk. It should go as a bunch. It should not go one after other. Are you understanding? The requirement is that these two documents should not go one after other. Rather, this should go as a bunch. There will be requirements like that. Okay, so now let's assume if that is our requirement, will this branch shape help us to achieve that? No, right? It doesn't help. So the only way to get that requirement achieved is, I'll just get rid of this whole stuff. I'll remove it. I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back. We'll go to the sub process. Okay. So I'll just get rid of this return document shape. Do not have any unnecessary return document shapes in your process. Okay. Just have only the ones which you need it, because if you add any return document shape, just observe this. This is also important to understand. If you add any return document shape, even if you're not using it, are you using this return document shape? No, right? Though you're not using it, but it will create a branch in the main process. Do you think this branch has any significance? No, right? It does not have. Will it ever get executed?
No.
No, right? But so please avoid having unnecessary return document shape. Also, please give them proper name. So for example, I'm naming it as used, and let's say I'm naming it as not used. This is not the right names, but I'm just trying to explain you. So if you go back, do you get these names getting reflected over here? So now you know, right, which is the not used branch and which is the used branch. So please give proper names to the return document shape. So I will just get rid of this one. I will say remove. So when I say remove, now how many branches we have? Only one, right? So for one branch, even if you don't give any name, that's fine. I mean, if we have only one return document shape, then it's up to you, whatever you want to name it. But again, the best practices says that you should give a proper name. If you feel there are multiple return document shape, then definitely you have to give some proper naming convention so that things are more descriptive and easy to understand. So now I come over here to the stop shape, save the stuff, test again. So we come to this stop shape. Again, we see two documents, but does it give us an idea that whether these two documents were sequential or came as a bunch? No. We'll go to the process level logs, route shape, process call, stop shape. How many documents?
Two documents.
Two documents. Now you might ask me, this is fine. We understand that this is helping us to, creating a bunch of documents, right? But how will it help in real time? You may ask me this question: how will it help in real time, or help me understand one use case where this is helpful? So I'll explain you a use case where this is helpful. So right now, what information we are getting about a person? Let's check it out. We are getting the name of the person and the details like whether the person is employed or not. Yes or no? Yes. So let's say we want this whole information to be disintegrated into two different files. Okay, we want this whole information to be disintegrated into two different files. Okay, first file should have the name of the employee, and second file should have the uh, name. Maybe we will add some more details in this file, then it will be more useful. Okay, so for now what I'll do is I'll add one more attribute or one more key, and let's say that key is about salary of, okay, maybe we'll write not salary, something like income. Okay, how much money that person makes. So let's say it is this. Okay, right now this income is a number or a string. What is it?
Number.
Number. And how do we decide that?
Because it is not enclosed in double quotes.
Very nice. It is not enclosed in double quotes, so that's why it is a number. Very nice. Okay, so we will change. So now when we made the change in this data, to to absorb this change, where else should we make a change?
Profile.
Very nice. We should make the change in the profile. We did similar things while we were working on XML, and now we are doing similar thing when we are working on JSON. I don't know. Okay, so you're right. We need to make change in the profile. We need to add one more key. And where is that profile?
Data processor.
You can refer it from different places. You could come to the component explorer and go. And since it is already being used in the data process shape, I could refer it from there also. How do we add an element?
Add element.
Go to object, add object, entry, income, and what should be the data type?
Number.
Number. Yes. Okay, very nice. So now, first of all, we'll run it like this. Okay, we'll just run it like this, just to make sure that whatever changes we made, are those working fine? Can we see the income information right now? Okay, there is some problem. What is the problem? Start field name.
Income should be enclosed in double quotes, I think. Income.
Didn't we enclose that?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Income has been enclosed in double
Yeah.
quotes.
Mm,
Income has been enclosed in double quotes here. Okay, here it is
Here
a
it is
miss.
missing.
Yes. Okay, here there was a miss. So that's why I think that is the reason we got an error. No worries, we fix that. And now we'll go back, save it, and run it again. All right, everything looks smooth. I just want to look at the data, whatever is coming at this point in time, when the location is US. So we are getting a JSON array with how many elements or with how many objects? One object, and that object has first name, last name, location, employment status, and the income, isn't it? Yes. So this looks cool, right? This looks cool to me. Now, what I want telling you is you may have a requirement wherein the business requirement might be that you have to generate two different files out of this. Okay, you have to generate two different files out of this. First file should contain the name of the person and his location, and second file should contain the name of the person and his income. Okay, first file, what should it contain? So we need two files. Okay, First file should contain the name of the person and location. And what about the second file? Name of the person and his income. Okay. So this is the requirement we have. And then what we want to do is we want to zip these two files in a zip file and send it as an email. Send it as an email to some person. I mean, you will see this kind of requirement very frequently, okay, where we want to zip the files and all. So tell me one thing, if you will have two files together, then only you will be able to zip them together. Okay, if you will have one file coming in, then second file coming in, then you will not be able to zip them together. So to zip them together, the only way possible is that you have to get those two files as a chunk, as a bunch of documents, right? If you will get one file, you will zip it, then second file, then there will be a different zip. You cannot zip them together. If you want to zip them together, then you have to make sure that those two files are represented as two different documents, but those two documents should flow as a bunch, right? Those should not flow one after other. So now what we do over here is we go to this sub process. Now in the message shape, right now we are producing some document. Okay, can we let's say the file format is, let's say, XML. Can we produce a XML file or XML document using message shape?
Yes.
Can we do that? I think we
Yes.
can do it, right? Isn't it? We
Yes.
can do it. But then the only problem is, will the message shape be able to run the loop? Let's say right now we have so you have to think, when you start working in real time, you have to think a little more than what we are doing right now. Right now we have data where we have one person from India, another person from US, the third person is from UK. But in real time, can we have multiple persons from US?
Yes.
Can we have multiple persons from India and multiple persons from UK? So then you have to ask business that, do you want that each file which we generate should have single person data, or you should have all the person's data, right? Because that is going to change your requirement, isn't it? So let's say the requirement is that regardless, I don't know how many number of people will be there, but all the people data should be there in a single file. So what do I mean by that? So when I say name of the person and location, it should be supportive for multiple people. Okay. So in that case, how it's going to work? Let's try to do this. So this is the, I will just try to add one more person data. I'll just try to add one more person data. And what should be the location?
US.
US only, right? I'll say Ramit. Why US? Because I have to design my solution that it works for multiple people also. So what we will do is, for US, we will add one more person and we will observe the behavior, that what is going in as an input to the sub process. So what is going as an input to the sub process?
Two documents.
Two documents, right? So let's say we go to the first document. So out of the first documents, how many files will get generated? Two files, right? And again, from the second one, how many files will get generated? Two files. So when you come to this top shape, how many documents you get?
Four documents.
Four, right? But do you want four?
No.
How many do we need?
Two.
We need two, right?
Yeah.
We need two. We need two. One which is coming from the first branch and the second one which is coming from the second branch, but we do not want multiple documents. So if this way, let's say 100 persons qualifying for US, how many files we'll have at the end? We'll have 200 files. 200, right? Because
Yes, yes.
here this will produce one file and this will produce second file. So you have to check with the business what is their business need, whether they want everything in a single file or they want different file for each person, right? Are you understanding this? Okay. Now the question is, if they want everything, when I say everything, I mean the personal details in one file and the salary details or the income details in another file for all the employees, then in that case, what we'll do is we'll again use a data process shape. But this time, before calling the sub process, what we are going to do, we
Zip it.
will combine them. We'll combine them. Combine documents, JSON persons data. Okay, when I come to this sub process, how many documents goes as an input? Single document, right? It has all the employees data or all the persons data who have got the location as US. Now at the stop shape, how many documents I'm getting? 2, right?
Okay.
Why I'm getting 2 now and not 4? Because when I was having 2 documents, whatever the logic we have in this sub process, that was getting executed 2 times, right? For 2 different documents. But now I send only 1 document as an input. So that logic will execute only 1 time, right? Are you guys following this? This is very, very important, guys. When you start working in real time, you will make use of these kind of scenarios very, very frequently. I'll repeat. So we can have 2 business requirements, that there is a information coming about a person which has a lot of information which I want to break down into 2 different files. But now you have to also understand whether you want a scenario where we have multiple persons data. So then you want separate file for each person, or you want to segregate it on the basis of the type of the information we have. So personal information for all the persons in one file and the income information for all the persons in other file. Both the requirements are possible. If the requirement is the first one where we have a different files, then you don't need to combine the documents. If you want that information should be consolidated, right? Then you have to combine the documents. Now you tell me, in this case, can I use a message shape? Do you know the number of persons data you will have, or it can change?
It can change.
It will change.
It can change, right? So in that case, message shape is not the right option, because message shape does not run a loop. When you do the mapping for this data, do you need to run a loop or not?
Yes.
You need to run a loop, right? Because you may have multiple people's information, but message shape will not run a loop. So in that case, which shape will be the better solution? We have to go for map shape. We have to go for map shape.
Yes.
So let's say this is like this, copy, paste. This is like this. So first map shape, hit plus. Let's say this is going to map personal info. This is going to map personal info. What should be your source?
JSON document.
Very nice. It should be JSON document. Do we have the document ready? Answer is yes. We have the
Yes.
document ready. This is the one. And target, let's say this time, okay, either you can choose flat file, you can choose XML, and it can happen that the personal information is in the XML format, and the income detail is in a different format, right? So let's assume that, let's start like this. So personal information I want, let's say, in XML format. Okay, I'll create a new profile. Okay, I'm saying I'll create manually. So if I want multiple persons data, so should I have a root element like this, persons, and within persons, I can have a
Person.
child element, let's say person. And for this person, what I have to take care of? Max
Occurrence
occurrences.
unbounded.
Why unbounded?
Because there
We
will
can
be
repeat that element. Maximum
Yes,
occurrence of that element can happen.
very nice. Because we can repeat that element. So I'm saying first name, save. Okay, why I'm showing you this, if you have to create the profile manually, you should know how to do it. And this will be last name. What else we need? So in first file, we told
Location.
location. Okay.
employment status.
Okay, that, let's say these are the three things. Okay, you can add further things also, that's fine. Can you do the mapping simple? Yes. Okay, done. Why we took a message shape? Why we got rid of a message shape? Because, so now you have to understand the left side information, whatever you're getting is an array, right? So array means it can repeat. So you might need to run a loop, right? For multiple people. But in message shape, your structure is static or not, right? Only the data can be dynamic, but your structure is static, isn't it? You can't run a loop in message shape. So that's why we had to use a map shape. So this time, this is, let's say, the income info. What would be your source? Same JSON, right?
Document.
So before you start doing this stuff, right, you should have the blueprint in your mind that how I'm going to do it. And right side this time, I want to try a different profile, that is flat file. Yes, I want to create a flat file. So I will say profile underscore income info. Here you have record, you have elements. So here I'll go and I'll add a new flight element. And let's say there is first name. Then you have last name. So whenever you have CSV files, whenever you have, what we call those as space limited files, right? Some fixed length files, CSV files, you will have to use which profile? Flat file. And we will add one more, let's say the income. So now when you're doing the configurations over here, right? Here there is an option. So it is asking, do you want to use the column headers or you do not want to use column headers? So if you'll use column headers, then it will produce column headers also in the file. What type of file you want? Data positioned or delimited? I will say delimited. What type of delimited? Let's say I want to produce a comma delimited file. Okay, that's all for now. I'll just save and close. First name to first name, last name to last name, and income to income. All right, save and close, hit OK, right? And this is which shape? Which shape is this one?
Written document. Written document.
Return document shape, very nice. So we'll say, so here there is some recommendation. Make the I will say make the recommended changes for me. And what is the recommendation for processes starting with the data pass through? We recommend that you disable what? Capture run dates. I will tell you what is this capture run dates. For now, I will say make the recommended changes for me, save and close, and come back. Let's run this test. Okay, everything looks smooth. we will straight away jump to the stop shape. How many documents?
Two.
2, right? So in the first document, the resultant is the person's information in the XML format. Does it look good? Is there any issue with this, guys?
No.
No, right? This is as per expectation. Now we go to the second file. Second file is a flat file, isn't it? First name, last name, income. Even this looks good. Yes. So that means we have been able to achieve our requirement. What is the requirement? That we have 2 different files, right? In 2 different formats, but these are coming as chunk. Can we check that from the logs? Stop shape executing with how many documents? 2 documents, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Could you achieve this without a sub process? Without a written document shape, could you achieve it? No. Whenever you will have to do this, you will have to do it in this way only. You have to create a sub process. In sub process, you have to create different branches and make sure those branches are connected to the written document shape. That will ensure that those documents are collated and returned as a bunch back to the calling process. We already saw, right, that we try to add a branch. If we add a branch, what is going to happen if we don't have sub process and we have the same logic, whatever we wrote over here? Let's say the same logic, I copy and I paste over here again, and I don't have a sub process. And let's say I have a stop shape. What is going to happen? What is the difference between these two approaches?
If you use subprocess, 2 documents will come as a chunk.
Okay, now if I execute with this approach, let's see. So do you get any error? No. But can you see here the second branch did not execute because we had stopped as end and return. So that means these are getting executed sequentially. The documents are not coming as a bunch, right? The documents are not coming as a bunch. So when you come to this stop shape, you will have what you will have. You will have 2 documents, but those 2 documents are coming one after other, which means first of all, this branch is getting executed completely, and then this branch is getting executed completely. So that will not help me to achieve my business requirement. My bigger business requirement is that I eventually want to zip these 2 files and send as an email. Okay. So I'll get rid of this stuff. So when I remove it, will it delete those mappings which I did in the sub process?
No.
No, because I'm just removing from the canvas. I'm not deleting it. So in that case, how do you delete the component?
Go to Component Explorer and then.
So if you want to delete any component, you have to go to the Component Explorer. You have to go here. You have to go to the profiles, go here, and then you have to delete. Yeah. Removing and deleting are 2 different things. Yes. Removing means you're just removing from the canvas, but that does not delete your components. Okay. Very nice. So now we have 2 documents coming in. What is my next requirement? I want to zip them.
Zip the documents now.
Zip the documents. So we have a
Data
data
process
process.
shape.
This exact
Follow.
requirement I have implemented multiple times in real-time projects. And when you start working in real time, you will also come across similar requirement. So we go here and we say, do we have an option to zip?
Yes.
Yes. So set the file name within the zip file. Understand this. This is optional, but what does it say? Set the file name within the zip file based on the property specified. So right now there are different ways, or there are different files, different connectors you can use. Let's say I want to use a disk connector right now. Okay, I want to zip, let's say, and first of all, let me try to write it down somewhere in my directory. You can send it as an email also. Okay, or else, first of all, let me try to write it down. So understand this. It is saying set the file name within the zip file based on the property specified. What is the property?
File name.
So it is asked. So when you are trying to write it as two different files, you have to give some file name or not?
Yes.
Yes. So let me explain you. This is a little confusing. I'll explain you. Let's say after zipping, there are two things I can do. I can kind of I can send it as an email, or else I can write it to some directory. So first, let me try to write it to a directory. So to write to a directory, we can use which connector?
This connection.
Disk connector. You're very much aware about this now. Okay. Yes. So now I go to the disconnector. The option will be action will be get or send?
Send.
Send. Very nice.
Send.
Do we have a connection?
Yes.
Okay, let me reuse it then. Where do we go? We go to the connections, and this is the connection disk. Which location it is pointing to? It is saying dummy connection. That's fine. Operation, it is saying create unique name if file exists. I will say yes. Create directory, I will leave it. Okay, check if it does not exist. Now for this final file name which will get written, if we want to override that, how can we do that?
Set property.
Properties.
Very nice. We can use a
Set property.
set property shape. We can use a set property shape. So here, what should be the property?
Document property disk file
Disk
name.
file.
And can I write something like, for example, I'm just writing here, person details dot zip, because zip, we are talking about the which file now? Zip file, right? Isn't it? Here at this point, which file we are talking about? Zip file, right? Because that is what we are trying to write. After this step, zip must have been ready, right? And then I'm trying to write that file name, personal details.zip. All right. Now when I run it, before I run it, do I need to set some extensions? Yes or no?
Yes. Dummy connection. Yeah, for that disconnection.
Yes. So I told you, right? Writing these kind of values will force you to use extensions. So right now, is it forcing us to use extensions?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Nice. We'll go to test it out. Now, before I test it out here, I need to set some extension value.
D directory.
Okay. Let me write D directory and I'll run the test. Okay. Is there any error? No, right? Everything looks smooth. So now what I'll do is I'll go to the D drive. Do you see some zip file here? This one.
Yes.
I'll double click on this. When you just double click on this, just forget about this. What is it saying? Do you see two files here? .dat, .dat. First file. Do you see the XML data? Second file. Do you see the flat file information? So do you see we have been able to achieve at least 70% or 75% of our requirement? What is missing over here? The names of the file. Does it look good?
No.
No, right? These are not user-friendly names. So what should we do for that? Now you come back to this property which I was trying to highlight. Okay, I myself remained confused for long. Nobody explained properly. Now you see, set the file name within the zip file. Based on which property? File name property. So where we can set now?
Set property.
So we'll go here. So the document is produced after this, right? And here I will use set property shape. This is very, very important. Exactly a real-time use case. I was doing an integration with Oracle Financials for one of our customers, and we implemented exactly same use case. Okay, so you use a set property shape. Which property you will set?
Document property, disk, file name.
File
Disk.
name.
File.
Why disk? Because when you are using a data process shape, right? Let us see once again. If you remember when we were using a data process shape, which connector did we use? Which connector property we asked to use?
Disk.
Disk.
Disk. Okay, so this is just to select the property. This disk has nothing to do with the writing of the file. Which disk connector is responsible for writing the file? This one. What is this connector doing? This connector is just to give you a property that you can use to write the name of the file. Are you understanding this? With this disk connector, is file getting written anywhere? No. This is just for giving you a option to write the name of the file which you're trying to zip. That's all. Okay, so you use a set property shape, file name. So can we write, this is which kind of file? XML file? Yes or no? In the first branch, which type of file we are producing?
XML.
Okay. I'll just copy this, I'll paste it, and instead of using this one, I'll use this one. And in this one, the name should be personal info or something else.
Income.
I'll write person income info dot. What should be the extension?
CSV.
Very nice. It should be CSV. What does CSV stand for?
Comma separated.
Comma separated.
Very nice. It stands for comma separated values. So we hit save and close. Okay, save now. Run the test. Okay. Now we'll go back to the personal details. Do you see a new zip file? Yes or no? If you go inside this, forget what is this. Can you see two different files? Personal info .xml and okay, just close it, and personal income info.csv. Yes or no? So now things are working as expected. If you just want, you can try. I don't know if I have the license or not. I'll say extract to a specified folder. Okay. Yes, this is the folder. In this folder, you have both the files. If you want to open a CSV file, then what we can do? Let me say view file. Can you see the file? Yes. This one. I will say view file. Can you see the XML file also? Awesome. So things are working as expected. We have been able to, zip the file. And now I hope you understand why we have a use case where we are trying to combine these two documents with the help of return document shape. If we were not using return document shape, then what will happen? There will be two different zip files, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, but we wanted stuff in a single zip file. That makes sense, right? That is the whole purpose of zip, so that we can kind of collate multiple files in that. Now the question is, okay, this looks awesome, this looks fine. Here we are sending it to a disk, which is fine. But what was our actual requirement?
It is to send it to email.
Yes, we wanted to send it as an email.
Email.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll add a branch shape. Okay, why I'm adding a branch shape? Just because I don't want to disturb what is working. Okay, but apart from this, I want to send it to as an email also, right? So what I'm doing is, right after creating this zip, I'm adding a branch shape. One is, let's say I'm trying to archive the zip, and second thing is I want to send it as an email. Makes sense? Any
Yes.
questions so far? Guys, are you following? Do you understand what does this configurations mean? Why we are using a set property shape over here? What is the use of return document shape? Anyone who's not following things so far? These all are not there in my previous recordings. All my sessions, all my batches are different batches. So this is a completely new stuff. All right, so let's go ahead. So now to send email, let's see if we have any connector. Do we have any connector? We have two. IMAP is generally used when you want to read the emails, but right now I want to send the emails. To send the emails, we generally use SMTP protocol. What does SMTP stand for?
Simple mail transfer.
Mail transfer protocol.
Very nice. It stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So now for sending the email via SMTP, you should have a SMTP server. Okay. So you send emails using Gmail, Outlook, these all will have their own SMTP server. Similarly, the organizations we work for, right? So you may be working for any organization, they will also have their own SMTP servers. So typically they will provide you this server details. Okay, so the action is get or send. Right now we want to send. Here you have to give the connection details. So, and then you have an operation. Okay, so I have not configured anything. I have just said that there are two parts of it. One is connection. So in the connection, you would need host, port, username, password, all that stuff. So you can use here the company's server details. So that will come from the company. You don't need to worry about it. Right now, in this case, there are two options. One is you use Gmail SMTP server. Okay, you can use your Gmail account. For that Gmail account, you can create one kind of a secret key. There you can create an app for that you want to use your Gmail SMTP server in a third party app. It will give you a secret key. That secret key you can use. I will show you the steps. I need to try it once. In my last batch I did. I need to check those steps again. And you can use Gmail SMTP server also, but in real time, we will not use Gmail SMTP server. Who will give you us these details? So the company for which whom we are executing the project will provide us. Or else, whenever you're confused, right? Whenever you need these kind of details, you don't have mail and all. So there is something called as process library. So these are some pre-implemented processes. These are some pre-implemented processes which can always be used for reference. Okay, if you use this properly for reference, you can learn so many things from here. So many. There are so many processes. Here, I will just type integration, or maybe I will type troubleshooting, something like this. Okay, so troubleshooting professional is what I'll type. I'll say install, and I will install it in the same directory where we are working. Okay, maybe under parent directory, I'll say install. So what does it do is there is a predefined process which is already existing, and I'm trying to use that. And why I'm trying to use that? In that BOOMI has by default, BOOMI has by default which connection? Mail connection. Okay, so if you do not have SMTP server, but right now if you want to do POC, you don't want to get into Gmail SMTP server, you can use the one which is given by BOOMI also. You can use the one which is given by BOOMI. So if you go to this connection, BOOMI has configured some details or not? Can you see this is SMTP server, email hyphen SMTP and all. The username, password, all these things are pre-populated. So do you need to bother about that?
No.
We don't need to bother, right? These are already there. But what we need to bother about? Operation.
Receiving message or not.
We need to bother about operation. So in operation, you will not change from details, but you can change two details. So I'll say dellboomi videos by Sumit Agarwal @gmail.com is my email ID. You can give your email ID also, that's fine. Then you have to give subject. Okay. So subject is personal or person details. Okay. Then there is a disposition. Disposition means where your data will be passed. It will be passed in attachment or inline. Inline means the body. And if you want to send as an attachment, then you have to select attachment. And when you send attachment, can you still write the body or not? Yes, you can still write the body. So attachment content type is what one you want to choose. So you have text plain, you have text XML. Okay. So right now leave it default. Body, what type of body you want to pass? You have text plain, text HTML, text XML. So let us leave default for now. Save and close. Let us leave default for now. Save and close. And let's say this is connected to this. So now just tell me one thing. If I'll connect this like this, I'll repeat the stuff. So what I've done is there was a predefined connection. Where that predefined connection was lying?
Process library.
It was there in the process library. Under process library, I just typed troubleshooting under the search and I got some troubleshooting professional process, which I copied in my component explorer. And from there, I took the connection. Isn't it? And the same connection I'm trying to use over here. Did I modify anything in the connection? No, because this is not defined by me, but I created a new operation. In the operation, I gave my email ID, subject, attachment, and all that stuff. Did I give the attachment name anywhere?
No.
So this set property shape is valid for disconnector, right? How to send the attachment name? So here you will add one more set properties. But what type of connector should be now there? Will it be disk?
No.
No.
Main.
You have to choose for which connector? Mail.
Main connector.
And in the mail, what all can you override?
Body, file name, subject from address.
So I'll start with body. Okay, so I will write something like this is a test email. Then what else you can override? Can you write body? We have already done. File name. Can you see some option like file name? Yes or no? So we can give personal details dot zip. What else can we use? We'll go back. Do you see something like from address to address? Subject also you can override. So if you override subject over here, then the subject, whatever you gave over here, that will be overridden and the preference will be given to the value which you set in the set property shape. So let's say I write the subject as test email. Here the subject is test email, right? And what is the subject over here? Person details. So now we have to see which one will be given precedence. This is also important interview question, which is given precedence. I'll repeat. I took the mail connector. I have not changed the connection. I modified the operation values. And now I'm using a set property shape. And in the set property shape, I'm setting the properties related to the mail connector where I'm overriding the body, the file name, the zip. This file name is for what? For the attachment. Let's test the process. we have a document where I think we created a document internally where we show how to use Gmail as a SMTP server. I'll give you that. So now this got executed, right? So that means email should have been triggered or not. Nothing got errored out. Yes. So first of all, we'll check the directory. We have personal details 2, right? So this part is working fine. This was working fine even earlier also. So now what is the email ID I configured? dellboomi videos by sumitagarwal@gmail.com. Email hasn't come through. Okay. There is some problem. I don't see the email going through. Let's wait. It might take some time sometimes.
Oh, maybe you need to change in settings, I guess.
I don't think so. This should work. I've used this multiple times earlier. All right, let's see here. It is saying mail message sent using dynamic parameter, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sometimes it takes time. Do you see an email? 2 emails? Yes. What is the subject?
Test email.
Test
Test
email.
email.
Okay, so now if you go back here in the subject, what is there? Person details. But in the set property shape, what is there? Test email. So which one took precedence? Set property shape. Now, do you see the body also getting populated? Can you see from? And can you see to also getting populated properly? That's why we got an email. And can you see a zip file with the proper name? Yes or no? You
Yes.
can download that zip file. And you see in that zip file, you have 2 files. Yes or no? Personal info and person income info.csv. So that means we are able to achieve that business requirement, which asked us to zip 2 files and mail those 2 files. How much time it took for us to complete this whole process? Not more than an hour. Right? Because it's all about knowing the things. It doesn't take much time for the development in BOOMI, but sometimes you have to struggle. The people who will not be aware about this approach might take a lot of time. So this is considered as a complex requirement in BOOMI, in real time, medium or complex. Okay, I think you followed it. Please go through this. This is very, very important use case, right? If you have any doubts, you can ask me again. We'll take a pause over here. I have another meeting to start. And if you'll have any questions, so if anybody has any questions which you want to clarify, you can send me the details over WhatsApp, or else you can join the session 5 to 10 minutes in prior. Okay.
Thank you so much.